We are the New York Knicks. We are the New York Knicks. We are the New York Knicks. The New York Knicks say, go New York, go New York, go. Go New York, go New York, go. I said, go New York, go New York, go. Go New York, go New York, go. Go New York, go New York, go. And we are live, the Knicks City Podcast, number 2. What to expect in the final 10 games. Obviously, I want to go over several things that I said, including our bench is killing it. I've actually gone over the numbers of the main 4 players. Jalen Brunson is back. What the number 5 seed means to the Knicks versus number 6 seed, and the final stretch before the playoffs. The final 10-game stretch. Let me correct that. Final 10-game stretch before the playoffs. Okay. So thank you for watching. This is MME 316, Mike Mordecai Einhorn. And here, this is the second podcast, Knicks City Broadcasting. And yeah, let's just get right back in. The Knicks had a great win last night. Yesterday, I actually did a replay on that on caffeine. Not on caffeine, like a lot of Coke or cocaine or whatever weird shit, but like the actual caffeine.tv. Found a website for that, which is pretty cool. And I want to look at the stats. Last night we had a great game. We won 116-110. We started off hot at the gate. I believe we were winning by as many as like about 12 or 13 points in the first half. Obviously, Denver came back in the first half, cut the lead. They cut the lead absolutely extremely. Cut the lead. I'm trying to figure out a word. My brain ain't working that right. Anyway, they cut the lead to a very, very small margin. That's a better way of putting it. Knicks came back in the second half, though, which was great to watch. And I've seen that lately in the last month. I've noticed, even when the Knicks are down or it's a very tight game, and this is the difference between the beginning of the season and right now, towards the middle, towards the final stretch of the season, is the Knicks are a lot tougher in those games. I can't think off the top of my head, but I have noticed that it used to be where if they were playing a really good team, they might be winning most of the game, and then that good team, whether it be Chicago, Washington, Milwaukee, Philly, would come back towards the end, and the Knicks would go silent, and they would just go cold. They're going to be out cold. And now all of a sudden, they're staying strong. I've noticed that a lot more often in those games, whether they be close or comebacks, like yesterday's comeback against one of the 2 or 3 best teams in the league. Julius Randle had a pretty good game last night, 6 out of 15 shooting. Not a great shooting, but he had 20.7 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal. Plus minus of 5. Jalen Brunson had a great comeback game. He had 15 points in the first quarter, 24 for the game, but came up big towards the end and had to make a nice, beautiful fallback floaters where he just fall on the ground and just made it look beautiful. His fancy footwork and finesse and intensity to lead this team has been a joy to watch throughout the season. He had 24 points, 5 assists, 2 rebounds on 9 of 20 shooting, 2 of 5 from the three-point line, and 4 for 4 from the free throw line. And RJ Barrett had a good comeback game, 21 points, 8 of 13 shooting, 5 of 6 from the free throw line, 0 for 3 from downtown, but 2 assists, 4 rebounds. And their bench also played very well. Their bench had 23 and 9, 32 points. No, I'm sorry, 11, 24. 35 points overall. No, 34 points overall. Led, of course, by Josh Hart. Had 13 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals. Man, quickly, even though he had a good shooting night, he did have 10 points, 3 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 assists, 1 steal. So the big three, core three of the RJ Barrett, Jalen Brunson, and Julius Randle combined for 65 points, 20 rebounds, and 9 assists. 9 assists. Shooting 11 out of 11. Wow, only missing 1 free throw between them. So that was 16 out of 17 from the free throw line between them, between all 3 of those players. So they're looking really, really good. And I want to just definitely highlight their bench. They only had 34 points, and that was slightly below the bench is average. But between Obi Toppin, Isaiah Hartenstein, Josh Hart, and Emmanuel Quickley, I made the calculations. Knicks main bench players have averaged 35.9 points per game, 20.7 rebounds, and 8.9 assists between those four players alone. And that has to be one of the best benches in the league. Their bench is beast. Like, you never feel when Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson, RJ Barrett, and Mitchell Robinson come out. I'm not including Quentin Grimes because I think he's a very good player. He's a good player with potential. He had 9 points yesterday, but he's not there yet. And I wouldn't trade him just yet. I think there is potential unless you're going to involve him in a big time trade scenario. Anyway, when you leave in the second quarter, the beginning of towards the end of the first quarter to the beginning of the second quarter, when you have Obi Toppin, Isaiah Hartenstein, Josh Hart, and Emmanuel Quickly, unlike from years past, you don't get worried. Like, that bench is not thin. That bench is definitely one of their fortes, one of their strong suits, if you will. And usually in that bench between Obi Toppin, Isaiah Hartenstein, Josh Hart, and Emmanuel Quickly, RJ Barrett is there to calm the nerves of us fans as well as the team, because even though he's been a little erratic at times and up and down, he's still a very good scorer, a very good defender, and there's a lot of potential there. And a little bit of a safeguard in case, their bench isn't doing that well that night when they're on the floor with him. But I'll be honest, Josh Hart, I believe he is 12-3. How many games has he played with the Knicks? That is the question. I believe they're 12-3 with him. On the season, he's 9.9 rebounds, 9.9 points, 7.9 rebounds, 3.9 assists, shooting 52%. But in the 15 games he's played with the Knicks, he's shooting 60%, 56% from three, 78% from the free throw line, 11.2 points, 3.9 assists, and 7.1 rebounds in just 30.3 minutes per game in the 15 games. And listen, that's 60%. Let's be real. It's like 4.9 shots out of 6.5. That's still pretty good for such a small amount of shots. But what I noticed about him, he's great on the boards. He makes big plays when big plays are needed. He is absolutely efficient. He is a winner. He played with Jalen Brunson on their championship-winning team in Villanova Wildcats, who I believe it was in 2018. And I'm not saying every team he's played on has been champions, right? But this guy has championship pedigree because he's just very efficient and knows how to do best, I guess, with less with more than a lot of guys. Like, I always see him making big plays, getting rebounds, taking it, driving to the basket. Keep in mind, this player is only 28 years old. Actually, 28. So he has several years left. I'm not sure if he's a free agent off the top of my head after this season. I can't tell you that right now. But if he is, Knicks should sign him to a decent deal. Not amazing deal, but good deal, because he's really pretty damn good. I want to look at the game log. I believe he's 12. They've won 12 of their last 15. Him playing the games he has played with the Knicks. So they've only lost 3 games. They played 15, so they've won 12 of their last 15, all with him. And he's been double figures 2, 3, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 times. 10 of the 15 games he's played with the Knicks, he has scored in double figures. Including a big game against Brooklyn we had 27 points in 28 minutes. It was back February 13th, the second game he played. He shot 10 of 14 from the field, 4 of 6 from down from the 3-point line, 3 for 4 from free throw line, 27 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. So the main 4 players on the bench, obviously, Josh Hart, Emmanuel Quickly, I would put him as 6th man of the year right now. I would put him definitely over Malcolm Brogdon. Maybe a little bit of slightly better, even though I think he's more of a finished product. Emmanuel Quickly is by far still a young man. I believe he's at 23, 24 right now, and by no means is in his prime. I'd rather have Emmanuel Quickly than Malcolm Brogdon, but I would put Emmanuel Quickly as 6th man of the year. He is averaging, let me get the stats right back up. He is averaging 13.6 points per game, 4.1 rebounds, 3.2 assists, a little under 1 steal a game, only 1.1 turnovers in 28 minutes. Started 15 games, but he's still a 6th man because he's played 71. He's been big off the bench. In the 9 games, he had to start. 15. That might have been because of RJ Barrett missing games. But in the 9 games that Jalen Brunson has missed, he averaged over 20 points a game, about 6 assists. He was he played some big time games. I mean, that was one of his like career high games. He was like had one of those games. He had 36 points, and I think the other game he played without Jalen Brunson was another game recently. He had 38. So they have a very deep bench. Obi Toppin, and then Isaiah Hartenstein, the other two players on the bench. Isaiah Hartenstein, not a great scorer, obviously, only averaging 4.8 a game, but a very good rebounder. Not only under 20 minutes a game, he gets 6.7 rebounds a game, 2.7 of those being offensive rebounds. All right. And does he get blocks? Point 0.8 blocks, whatever. But he is a very good rebounder, obviously a great offensive rebounder. So if you're getting nearly 3 offensive rebounds a game in 20 minutes, that means those taps, when you get that or you catch it and you throw it back out, those are 3 second chance point opportunities for the New York Knicks whenever he plays. And they're one of the top second chance point opportunity teams in the league, averaging 12.7 rebounds, offensive rebounds a game, 47 total, which I believe is up there. All right. So Isaiah Hartenstein, when he does, he's like make score. He scores like Mitchell Robinson, which is usually a dunk, a putback dunk. But those are momentum swings right there because he just does it such intensity, and he is a phenomenal defender. I trust him as a backup center. Obi Toppin, I'll be honest, he's very good, right? I don't think the Knicks will ever see him as a finished product because unless you for whatever reason, get rid of Julius Randle, which I don't see that unless you get it's a big trade scenario and you want a better player, which I would not mind, even though Julius Randle is having the best season of his career, averaging 25.2 point, 20 over 25, a little over 25 points a game. Shannon 10 reach, 25, 10, and 4 assists. Okay, so I would only trade him if you're getting a phenomenal player in return. But being the fact that Julius Randle's on the team, I believe he has 2 to 3 more years on his contract with the New York Knicks. Obi Toppin, you're a young player. I wanted him in the beginning of the season because of Julius Randle's horrendous last season to not play. To Obi Toppin get a lot more minutes. And then because of the best player on the team, Jalen Brunson, let's be honest. He may not be the highest scorer right now, but he's definitely the best player on the team. Julius Randle doesn't have to be a playmaker, and it shows Julius Randle at his best. Scoring, rebounding, getting inside, shooting pretty good 3-point percentage, and shooting like making 2 a game at least. Let's look at that. I want to see that. A game he makes. Oh, wow. Julius Randle makes the most 3-pointers for the Knicks per game, 2.8. Oh, nearly 3 threes a game. So because Jalen Brunson is doing his thing and puts Julius Randle in a totally different mentality. He doesn't have to be a playmaker, which is not something he sucks at, obviously. He's at maximum efficiency. I'm saying Julius Randle is at the peak of his career. So I don't know if I would sign him after this contract. I don't think Obi Toppin will be here. I don't think they're going to re-sign Obi Toppin. I think he has a lot of potential to be very good. Maybe great, but definitely very good. Average 12 to 13, like say 15 to 18 points a game, get 7 to 8, 9 rebounds a game, and be a very good defender. But based on the fact that Tom Thibodeau, who even though the Knicks doing good, I wouldn't keep him as my coach. It's hard not to. I would rather have Mark Jackson if they were open to Mark Jackson. Other than that, you keep Debs. Being the fact that Tom Thibodeau doesn't want to put Julius Randle and Obi Toppin on the court together. He feels like they do not complement each other. And in order for Julius Randle to come out, usually Obi Toppin's coming in, and Obi Toppin coming out, Julius Randle coming in. You're not going to see the best of him. But he's averaging 6.2 points per game, a little shade under 3 rebounds, and he's a very talented player. But you're not going to see the best of him. But right now, I'm glad that he's on the bench. He is a very talented player and very, very efficient. And of course, I mentioned Josh Hart. Who did I not mention? I mentioned Obi Toppin, Isaiah Hartenstein, Josh Hart, and Emmanuel Quickly. That's our bench. And wouldn't trade it. The last couple of years, we've actually had very good benches that might have had a little more depth because it helped us because we didn't have as much depth or very good starters. But now, based on RJ Barrett playing pretty well. What's RJ Barrett? He was under 20, but he's averaging a little 43.5% per game field goal percentage. Jalen Brunson, 48.6%, and Julius Randle like 46%. Um, yeah, there's a lot more in the starting lineup that we have less players who are good bench players, but the ones we have, the four we usually use, are much more efficient and a lot better than seasons prior, obviously. So that's our bench. Um, what else do I want to? Okay, yes. What does the fifth seed versus the sixth? Now, the way the schedule is right now, I see Brooklyn is nosediving. The Knicks are 42 and 30. They're 12 games above 500. They won their last three games, hopefully four tomorrow, Monday's game against versus the Minnesota Timberwolves, which is definitely a winnable game, let's be honest. They got Mike Conley. He's seemed like he's a little resurrected, but I wouldn't worry about him. He old. And they have Anthony Edwards, who is a budding star in this league. Um, they are about 2.5 games difference between the fourth and fifth, which is Cleveland. And they're about 2.5 games above, seating wise, above Brooklyn. Brooklyn looks like they're nosediving. Like I said, Mikal Bridges for the Brooklyn Nets, who they traded for, looks like he could end up being a franchise player. He's averaging 26 a game with Brooklyn. He's looking really, 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 really good, but they don't have enough. Um, as long as the Knicks don't need to rest players too much, they have 10 games left. I'll get to that in a second. But what the fifth, sixth seed would mean, they're playing Milwaukee, Philadelphia, or Boston. Now, Boston, they won twice. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they won twice. Philly, I believe they also won twice. And Milwaukee, I think it's similar. In fact, I could look at this right now, real quick. If you don't, hold on 1 second, fans. Look at those three teams. I want to see each of them, what we did against them this season. We check Milwaukee first, who is the number one seed right now, of course, with Giannis at the helm, as well as Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, and very deep three-pointers, guys who could shoot threes, score, and are pretty good. The Knicks played them 3 times. Bucks beat us 2 out of 3. One of them was 11-point loss. The other was a 6-point loss. Oh, they beat us 3 times. I think it would be different. All of them, except for the first one, were 4 to 6-point losses. The first one was 11-point. If they played us now, I think it would be vastly different because we've definitely increased our ability to play at a high level as the season's going on. So Milwaukee, I think we could do well against them, to be honest, because all those games happened prior to January 8th. Okay? So I think we could take it to 6 to 7 games with them. Let's check now. What was our record against Philadelphia this season? I believe it was 2-2. Yeah, it was 2-2. I think we could take it to 6 to 7 games. Also, James Harden is injured right now. I think he'll probably come back, if I'm honest, before the playoffs. And then let's check Boston, who I think, bar none, is the team the most likely. Of all those three teams, all of them are contenders to make the finals. I think Boston is the most likely going to get to the finals. Forget it. They're definitely the most team that's in. Okay, so I'm gonna check Boston's record, and this is what the difference between the fifth seed, and the sixth seed is. We beat Boston. Actually, we beat them the season series 3 out of 4. Playoffs are different. Okay. Even though we were 2-2 with Philly, 3-0, 0-3 with Milwaukee. All of those three teams, unless major injury happens to one of them, I don't see the Knicks beating any of those three teams. The best we can hope for, I would say, is a 6 to 7 game series, in all likelihood. But so that's the 6th seed. And now I don't see us getting into the 6th seed unless we nosedive based on an injury to either Julius Randle, RJ Barrett, or Jalen Brunson. No, let's hope that doesn't happen. Because also, if that did happen and they, let's say, missed the rest of the season, including playoffs, and they had to play either Milwaukee, Philadelphia, or Boston, or had to go to play-in games, worst of all, either they don't make the playoffs or they get swept. So that's the only way I see it happen. I don't see Jalen Brunson going nosedive. I don't see any of those players. I don't see that happening. Hopefully, all right. So in all likelihood, we will be playing the Cleveland Cavaliers. We have a bone to pick. I I believe we beat them season series wise, but I'm gonna check again. But at this point, I don't even like care that much. But let me just check real quick. Okay, Cleveland, we did beat them at least once, obviously. 92-81 on the Sunday, December 4th. That was actually the beginning of our 8-game winning streak, the second longest winning streak we had this season. The other one of these was 9. We have to play them actually in 12 nights from now, 12 days from now, nights, whatever, game 4. But we beat them 2 out of 3. Okay, so I must want to check that. What is that? Is that at that is Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. That's a horrible name for an arena. So that's in Cleveland. 7:30 start time, March 31st. 7. Hold on, March 31st, which is a Friday. I think that's obviously a winnable game. I'll get to the 10-game stretch in a moment, but technically it would be an upset if we beat them. But it's definitely not out of the realm of possibility that we win in either between 5 and 7 games. I can definitely see us beating Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Eric Mobley, or Evan Mobley, whatever his name is, Jared Allen, and company. That's a winnable game. And the Knicks fans, as well as myself and Knicks, feel great about that because we lost out on Donovan Mitchell and that pissed everybody off, myself included. I want to see them get revenge on Donovan Mitchell, Cleveland Cavaliers, and shit on what's his name, Danny Ainge a little bit by beating him. Like, haha, the team you gave him to, even though you guys started off a little bit, you guys aren't in the playoffs. You, Danny Ainge. We are. A, we are. And B, we didn't need him to beat the team you gave him to. So, haha, you know? But that being said, I do think that's definitely a winnable series for the New York Knicks. Could they lose it? Yes. But could they definitely win it? Absolutely. Full team ahead, full speed ahead, all no injuries, no major injuries. We got this. I definitely think there's like 50 to 70% chance I believe we could beat them. I can't go 100% like, oh, it's definitely going to happen. It could go either way. Like I say, 50 to 70% chance we do have a better team, and we have gotten stronger and more resilient as the season has come on. That game on March 31st, 12 nights from tonight will matter, and we will see them, and we will beat them. Okay, so told you about all of that. I want to see. We now are 42-30 right now. The Knicks 42-30, 12 games above 500 in the 5th seed, 20-16 at home, and 22-14 on the road. Our home streak, our home record has gotten better as the season's going on, and our away streak, for whatever reason, we're better on the road. I don't know why. 28-17 in conference. Knicks averaging 115 points per game, which is a good amount, and 112.2. I believe that's 8th in the league, smallest. Let's check. Let me check this real quick. Where they stand on that. Not record, but opponents' points per game. They're 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're 8th. 7th. Tied for 7th opponents' points per game. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, so the final 10 games, after winning 3, they literally won. Wow. They literally did win 12 of their last. Oh, okay. Hold on. 12 of their last, 13 of their last, 14 of their last. 14 of their last 17 games. Not bad. No, 14 of their last 18. Hold on. Yeah, whatever. 12 of their last 15 definitely. Okay. So their final games are are versus Minnesota, at Miami, at Orlando, versus Houston, versus Miami, versus Washington, at Indiana, versus New Orleans, and versus Indiana. I think I'm at Cleveland. Okay. So I'll be honest. All of those games are very winnable games. You definitely listen. I want to beat Minnesota at the. Okay, so I could see them winning their next 10 games, to be honest, but I don't. I'm just getting a little cocky here. But the last 4 games, winnable. Very, 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 like, gimmies, I feel like. Even though I think they lost to Washington, they can beat Indiana. They play Indiana twice in a 4-game set, and New Orleans. So last 4 games, very winnable. I say, like, what they need. One, two. Orlando, Houston, Washington. Wait, so 6. I want to see them go at least 7 of their last 10 games, which would put them 49 and 33. I think Cleveland's going to be very competitive. I think the 2 Miami games and the Cleveland game are going to be very, very competitive. They play Miami twice. Actually, once this week, this coming Wednesday, they're playing them. March 22nd, 7:30 at Miami. And then they play Miami again literally a week later, Wednesday, March 29th, versus Miami. So it's about a week. I think those games about Miami is like, we need to make the playoffs. We want that 6th spot. And we want that 5th spot, that 6th spot. Miami wants to make the playoffs. They do have a tough, very defensive-minded team with Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero, and Bam Adebayo. So that's not going to be a gimme, but those games are definitely winnable. I think their last 10 games are definitely winnable. One of them only one will be on national TV at Orlando, NBA TV. But at the very least, I think they can win 7 of their last 10 games, which would they had 49 wins out of 33. I want to see that record. If that would 49 divided by 82 is 597. And I just want to look at the record of 40. So 597 conference. They still would be below Cleveland. It wouldn't be a home series. Cleveland had to nosedive for that to happen. I feel like I don't want to feel like. Let me check also Cleveland's. I didn't think about this coming back. What their schedule is like, because they have 9 games left, 45 and 28. Obviously, they're playing the Knicks. They play Brooklyn twice. Hey, those are gimmies. They play Houston. That's 3. Atlanta 4. Then they play Orlando twice and Charlotte. So they have 1, 2, 3. They have an incredibly easy schedule. They play Brooklyn twice, Houston, Indiana. 7 of their last 9 games are going to be incredibly easy. I think Atlanta, they might get upset, and Knicks, I think those are only. So if their last 9 games, that means they can easily get to 52 wins. So I don't think the Knicks are going to get 52 wins. I think they're going to get 49. Put them in the 48 to 49 range, but preferably 49, maybe 50, possibly, which would be great. But we're looking promising. I think we could definitely beat Cleveland. I'd rather it be a home series where we have home court advantage, but it doesn't look like that. But regardless, Knicks are looking fucking great this season, man. So go New York, go New York, go! Go New York, go New York, go! Feel the flow. Go New York, go. Knicks City podcast number 2. What to expect is over. Thank you for watching. MME 316, Mike Mordecai Einhorn, Knicks City Broadcasting Productions. Have a good night. Peace out.